Welcome to the Lean Six Sigma Academy Yellow Belt Training.
Welcome to this Lean Six Sigma Academy Yellow Belt Training module. In this module, we will explain the tools used in project management. The 5 steps in the DMAIC roadmap for process improvement will be explained, and we will pay special attention to the stakeholders analysis. Time management and project execution tools will also be discussed, and we will explain the attitude necessary to make a project successful. A stakeholder analysis is a way to understand the various attitudes people may have towards the project, and a way to develop a strategy to cope with these attitudes. Stakeholders are the people who have an interest in or an influence on the project. Some of these stakeholders might resist the changes you would like to introduce in your efforts to improve the current process. Knowing the stakeholders and understanding their attitudes is therefore an important part in strategy development. To identify the potential stakeholders in a project, the first step is to look at the project environment. This overview should consider those with a major interest in completing the project, and also those who have to deliver resources for the project. There may be conflicting interests with other work or with other projects that need to be done at the same time. Also, team members may have other priorities apart from this project. To conduct a stakeholder analysis, start by making a list of all people involved in the project environment. We then need to find out the interests of each of these people, which it can include supporting and/or conflicting interests. We also need to find out the influence of the stakeholder. An estimate should then be made of the relationship this stakeholder has to the project, and then the risk or opportunities for the project should be defined. A specific communication plan is made for each stakeholder to be able to inform and positively influence the stakeholder towards the project goal. The Six Sigma roadmap follows the 5 DMAIC steps: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Each step is finished with a tollgate review and a decision to either proceed or not with a project. All of the steps need to be taken in order to guarantee that no important steps of a project are neglected or forgotten. In the next slide, we will look at the DMAIC roadmap in more detail. The starting point is the define step, in which we describe the problem as well as the objective of the project. In this step, we also make sure that there is a project plan, a stakeholder analysis, and that the risks of the project are addressed. In the measure phase, we look at the voice of the customer and define the baseline performance of the current process. We also analyze and validate the current measurement system. In the analyze phase, the current process is diagnosed and the most influencing factors of the outcome are determined. In the improve phase, we select and implement the improvements to the system. We then verify that these improvements realize the goal of the project. In the control phase, we change the control systems so that they can sustain the realized improvements in the future, and we conclude the project by turning over the responsibility to the process owner. To be able to finish a project in the time frame agreed upon in the project charter, the project plan must be made. In most cases, a Gantt chart is used for this. It is a clear visual tool which describes the major steps to be taken, the person responsible for undertaking the action, and the duration of each step. It also clarifies which steps need to be finished before the next step can be started. The critical timeline can be seen from the Gantt chart. One of the most important Six Sigma advantages is that the toolbox that it uses is very big. For each problem, we can choose the right methods and tools to solve the problem. The green and black belts are trained to use Six Sigma tools and support the yellow and orange belts in choosing and using these tools. We will not go into all of these tools at the moment, but most of them will be described during the Six Sigma training series. Project execution follows certain rules which are controlled by the project leader. The project leader must ensure that the project follows the agreed upon timelines and budget and must set the priorities. Regular team meetings need to take place so that team follow-up is possible. Project board meetings also need to take place to review the progress of the project and so that escalation can take place when necessary. The most important factor, however, is good communication with the various stakeholders and with the rest of the organization. Because meetings are important for the project teams, the effectiveness of meetings can play a role in the project. The basic rules for conducting effective meetings are shown here. The starting point is good preparation, which includes defining a clear meeting purpose, agenda, and sending invitations. Each participant should also be prepared. During the meeting, it is important that the leader sticks to the agenda and stimulates equal participation. All participants should be on time and respect each other's opinions. Always end meetings with a short summary and a survey to be able to improve the quality of future meetings. After the meeting minutes should be sent out to all meeting participants. During the project, it is important to keep the different team members active and constructive. Because the project will likely run into diverse problems, it is oftentimes difficult to keep up the good spirit that most teams start out with. Contributions from each team member are necessary and need to be appreciated. The team leader has to pay attention to any roadblocks that may arise. It is important to be aware that for most projects, solutions are not known in advance. If you think in terms of solutions rather than problems, your glass will be half full instead of half empty. We have now reached the end of this yellow belt training module. In this session, we described the 5 steps of the DMAIC roadmap: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. We went on to discuss the importance of stakeholder analysis and project planning. The rules involved in effective communication during projects and in meetings were also demonstrated. Finally, we talked about attitude and how to handle roadblocks within the project. Thank you for your interest, and we hope to see you back soon at the Lean Six Sigma Academy.